In today's video we're going to be reviewing the Thunderfire cannon from the Space Marine Codex. So hello and welcome back to Planet 40k. Moving on to another one of the units within the Space Marine Codex, one of the heavy support options, which is the Thunderfire cannon. Now before we get into that, shout out of the day goes to Charlie Eagles for their comment they made on the Vindicator review, so shout out to you Charlie. So the Thunder Cannon, as mentioned, is a heavy support. It's coming in at 6 power level. It's going to cost you a total of 120 points. Now for 120 points you're going to get the cannon itself as well as a Tech Marine gunner. Both of the models will be compulsory, you can't just select one of them. So let's move on to the keywords of note. Now they do have different keywords with each model, so the actual Tech Marine gunner is a character, a gunner and an infantry, whereas a Thunderfire cannon is an artillery, a vehicle and of course a Thunderfire cannon. As for the datasheet of the two models, starting off with the gunner, movement of 6 inch, weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 4, attacks 3, leadership 8 and a 2+ save. And then the cannon itself is only 3 inches of movement, weapon skill 6+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 3, toughness 6, wounds 4, attacks 1, leadership 8 and a 2+ save. So the Thunderfire cannon itself is quite tanky with toughness 6, and both models have got 4 wounds apiece with a 2+ armor save. As for the abilities, Angels of Death, so combat doctrines and shock assault are going to come into play for the two there. They've then got the Blessing of the Omniscient. Any vehicle model within 3 inches of the gunner is going to be able to repair a vehicle D3 lost wounds per turn, and you can actually do this on himself with the Thunderfire cannon. So if it's taken any wounds you can heal it up. It's then got crude artillery. So after the unit is set up on the battlefield for the first time, it's now split into 2 units, one containing the artillery model, the other is the gunner. But at the end of any phase, if the gunner unit is not within 3 inches of the artillery unit, then the artillery unit is instantly destroyed. So make sure they stay together at all times. It's then got operated artillery, so while the gunner unit is within 3 inches of the artillery, which it always will be, enemy models cannot target the gunner with ranged weapons. So this is actually better than Lookout Serve, because it means even though snipers and whatnot cannot target it, because no ranged attacks can target it whatsoever. Moving on to the Wargear, so the Thunderfire cannon is equipped with a Thunderfire cannon, of course. Then the Tech Marine gunner is equipped with a bolt pistol, a flamer, a plasma cutter, and 2 servo arms. Starting off with the Thunderfire cannon, it's got a range of 60 inches, heavy 4d3, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage, and it's got the blast ability, and you don't actually need line of sight to target someone. So you pretty much got range of the entire board. Now it's only strength 4, and on average you're going to get 8 shots, with a potential of 12 of course, but there's also no AP on this weapon either, only in the first turn, which is the Devastator Doctrine where it will get a -1 AP. As for the gunner itself, he's got a bolt pistol. We all know what the bolt pistol is. He's also got a flamer, which is auto hitting, assault D6, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. He's then got the plasma cutter. As with most plasma weapons, it's going to come with 2 profiles. Both of them 12 inch range, both assault 1, but the standard is strength 7, -3 AP and 1 damage. And the supercharged variant is strength 8, -3 AP and 2 damage. And of course, in the tactical doctrine, which is turn 2 and optionally turn 3, this can become a -4 AP. Just remember, if you are supercharging the weapon and you roll a 1 to hit, you're going to destroy the bearer, which also means you're going to then destroy the artillery, because it needs to have a gunner unit within 3 inches. Unless of course you've got 2 lots of these combinations and you can use one of the other gunners to be within range of both of them. Then on to the servo arm, which is the melee weapon of the Tech Marine gunner. It's strength ×2, making it strength 8, -2 AP and the damage is 3. Now you can only do 1 attack per servo arm, so you can only make 1 attack with each of the arms, so that's going to be 2 attacks total with the servo arms at strength 8. Any other attacks that this unit has is just going to be at strength 4 with no AP and 1 damage of course. So that damage 3 in particular is quite frightening, especially to things like Terminator models. Moving on to the stratagems, you've got tremor shells is the main one here. Now you do it in the shooting phase when you select a target for the artillery. Until the end of the phase, each time you make an attack you have to subtract 1 from your wound roll, but if you score a hit against a unit that isn't titanic and it cannot fly, then until the next movement phase you're going to halve the move characteristics of the models in the targeted unit and subtract 2 to the advance and charge rolls made for the unit. So that one in particular is very tactical. Imagine putting this on a big group of gene stealers, for example, that are trying to charge in, especially with their stratagem and whatnot. And this could be working on all sorts of melee units that are coming in. Next you've got only Indefter's Duty End, which can be used on your gunner because he's a character. So if he does die in combat, before removing him, you can let him fight with his servo arms. Now it's 2 command points, it might be a little bit pricey for having just 2 attacks with strength 8. As for some chapter synergy, there's not masses here, but Dark Angels have got the +1 to hit if they remain stationary, which this thing probably will be. It's only got a 3 inch movement anyway, so you're going to get a +1 to hit, but you are hitting on 2s anyway. But if you do have any sort of negative modifier to your hit roll, then you can use this one. You then got White Scars, Hunter's Fusillade, which is a stratagem to turn heavy weapons into assault weapons. Again, it's not the biggest thing here, but you can move it, advance it, and then still fire at a -1 to hit. Imperial Fist remove light cover with their chapter tactics, so a nice straightforward one there, especially when you don't even need to have line of sight, so they're likely going to be within cover. Iron Hands for the Wrathful Machine Spirit to reroll the hit rolls with their stratagem, and then the Tent Marine and Vehicle synergy in general is pretty good. Ultramarines have the ability to fall back and shoot, which is quite rare. Now it is a -1 to do that, but you've got that option. And then Raven Guard of course have the Shadow Master chapter tactics with all their cover save shenanigans. And then finally Death Watch for the rerolls against the Xenos armies, plus you can reroll ones for the battlefield rolls. If you select say troops for example, you're going to be rerolling ones against troops. So not much really to go on there. So let's move into the summary. So starting with the good, the gunner has a better version of the Lookout Sir because he can't be targeted by even snipers. The artillery itself doesn't need line of sight, so it can be shooting from anywhere right at the back of the board, behind obscuring terrain so it can't be seen as well. I mean, in theory the Tent Marine could be 3 inches out onto an objective and still can't be targeted even though it's out in the open. Next you've got that both models have a ballistic skill value of 2+, which is obviously really strong, very captain-like there. They've both got a 2+ armor save as well, which is like Terminator models almost. The gunner himself can carry a relic and a warlord trait. Now there's none really that fit that well from the main codex anyway. Now there may be some in the supplements and the indexes, but nothing really of note from the main Space Marine codex. Of course the Tremor Shell stratagem can be really tactical. Now it is going to be a -1 to wound, but I think not allowing a certain unit to get into combat by slowing them down could be a much bigger factor. Then finally the gunner can repair vehicles including the cannon. As for the bad, neither of the units are a core unit, so they're not synergizing that well with the codex. The gunner himself must stay within 3 inches of the artillery or it will be destroyed, which kind of restricts him quite a lot because the artillery itself can only move 3 inches. Neither model has an in-run save. Then the cannon is only strength 4 and no AP, which kind of sucks against the more elite armies and power armor for example, but really good against things that don't have much of a save such as Guardians and Tyrannid Gaunts. The servo arms, although they are strength 8, they are restricted with only 2 attacks maximum for the unit, so there's not much coming out from there. Not only that, the gunner can't give that +1 to hit like Tet Marines do to all vehicles. I mean, I know he's not quite a Tet Marine, he's a Tet Marine gunner, so not quite as good. There's also not many stratagems that affect artillery. And finally, 120 points for all this I find quite expensive, especially the weapon itself, strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. Yes, you are getting 2 models, but I just think it's a little bit overpriced. It's more like a 70 point model in my opinion, maybe 80 at a push. So for the rating today, I'm going to be giving this unit a Planet 40k rating of 2 stars. So guys, that wraps up the video today. Smash a like on your way out and sub if you are new. And also don't forget, one of the comments below will be selected for the next Space Marine video for the special shout out. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you next time.